سلام برای دوستان. یک قسمت قسمی که مکتبای هنری در پیش بردم تا قسمت دوره رومانتیک رسیدیم. یک قسمت باز بخشای کوتاه معرفی میکنیم. مکتبای هنری از تا سالهای 8 سالا قرن 19 تقریبا میرسه، شروع قرن 19 است و میبینیم که اینجا هنرمندای دیگه میاین و هنرمندای دوره رومانتیک سبب از این میشه که این سوژه هنری تغییر میکنه یک دمی. و این قسمت جا داره که درباره گویا فرانسیسکو گویا یک نقاش اسپانیایی است که این دوره هم از یک طرف ناپلیون حمله میکنه، تمام اروپا را به دست خود میگیره و حمله میکنه تا طرف روسیه، جمهوری شوروی که ما میشناسیم، و او را تا مسکو میگیره و تا امروز خود اونجا باز ناکام میمونه و پس میه. ولی گویا خب گویا یا فرانسیسکو گویا که از نقاشای مشهور فرانسوی اسپانیایی میباشه که در اسپانیا تولد میشه و در اونجا آثار خود در اوایل آثارش زیاد اشراف زاده و بیا خوش میکنه و تمام کاراش از مردمایی که با نفوذ میباشه کارهای ازواره میکنه. ولی چیزی بسیار پورترهای ازوار نقاش میکنه از پاچه ها و از شاهزاده و بیار کسایی که باید در اجتماع اشراف زاده می باشه. هنوز کمره نهی باشه و ارتش داره تا بوده، ولی سوژه های تا آثارش وقتی که ناپلیون جمله میکنه با سوژه های آثار دیگه میبینیم که تغییر میکنه و بعد از اون حتی آثارش هم چیزهای دیمون میگن یا کسایی که چیرهایش تغییر میکنه و یا باز ما جن میگیم مثلا جندا و همین شیطان آویار نامگذاری میکنه و بسیار آثار مقبول خلق میکنه که از تابلوی بسیار مشهور زیادش که از مایا با لباس و میدون لباس است که یک بیجور پل لباس باز ویدیوهای هم با کوشش کردیم با هم پیدا کنم براتون نشر میکنم و در قسمت هم باز بخشای کوتاه فیلمای دیگه هم هست و تمام تاریخ فیلمای تاریخ هنر کم کم کوشش میکنیم که معرفی کنیم. من که تابلوی مایا بسیار زیاد خوشم میاد که میبینید بچه از زیبایی مقبول نقاشیش در بسیار زیاد و چیزی بسیار جای تاسف است وقتی که ما تاریخ هنر میبینیم که از وقت رنسانس میبینیم که یک اوج بسیار بلندی در قسمت مجسمه سازی میباشه و تا میکلانجلو مثلا میبینیم که یک دمی از قرن 16 و بعد تا قرن 18 دیگه باز هیچ مجسمی در اروپا کار نمیشه و وجود نه و گوی یگانه کسی هست که یگانه کسی که اولین با باز یک مجسمی جور میکنه که فیلم عکسش پیش من نیست، اگر پیدا کردم که امروز بود عکسش پیدا کردم و براتون خود یک از پروگرام ها نشر کنم. پروگرام ها رو تعقیب کنین، حتما آموزنده است و خالی از دلچسبی میفهم هنرمندایی که کسایی که علاقه با هنر داره تعدادشون قدر زیاد نیست مگرم دوستایی که علاقه با هنر دارن میخواین که لذت برن از آثار هنری برن این فیلم ها رو تعقیب کنن ببینن و هم خودشان کوشش کنن، چرا که من کوشش میکنم هرچند نباشه من کم کم فشرده گپ میزنم، اگر با وقت پیدا شد باز وقتا باز آثار میگیریم زیر نظر خاص و جداگانه سرش باید بحث شود. هر آثر هر هنرمند خب گویا از جمله دوره آثار از دوره رومانتیک است و بریم آثارش ببینیم، بسیار آثار جالب است و کارهای گرافیک که با در به حساب چاپ گرافیک میگیم و چاپ میگیم مثلا در نیفهم در افغانستان چی میگن یا لیتو یا لیتو میگن یا ایتس میگن. ایتس که هست اون چیزی است که در آیین کار میشه با سوزن تراش میکنن باز رو چاپ میکنن و لیتو که هست در سنگ است چاپ سنگی ما در سنگ کار میکنن باز رو چاپ میکنن. بسیار تکنیک بسیار جالب است. باز آثار ما جور کرد باز تا بباره باز در افغانستان باز خدا کنه نگهداری شود. جای خدای بار نهی پیشم و از فعلا خداحافظ و تعقیب کنید پروگرام ها را. جالب است براتون. خداحافظ.
Most paintings looked like this. Muted colors, complex scenes, and lots of mythological stuff. But in 1865, something came along that was so different, it caused shock and horror and outrage.
The body's putrefying color recalls the horror of the Moors, and at times the undefinable terror of a painted corpse. Her face is stupid, her skin cadaverous, she does not have a human form.
The painting is called Olympia, and it changed the art world forever. Manet painted Olympia in 1863, when Paris was the cultural center of the world. And at the center of this cultural center was the Academy of Fine Arts. The Academy is made up of upper-crust art critics that worship the Italian Renaissance painters of 300 years prior. You know, Michelangelo, Raphael, Botticelli, Titian, and at the Paris Salon, the Academy's legendary annual art show, they only displayed art that mimicked the Renaissance style. To determine who made the cut, they had a bunch of rules. First and foremost, great art was supposed to convey a moral or intellectual message. And all acceptable art fell into one of 5 categories, ranked by their capacity to deliver those messages. Landscapes and still lifes were at the bottom. And in the middle are portraits and genre paintings, which are mostly quaint scenes of poor or foreign subjects painted for the rich. And at the top of the list was history painting, the Academy's darling. These depicted major historical or mythical moments. They were considered the best at providing an ethical or moral lesson, like depictions of the birth of Venus, showing the goddess emerging fully formed from the ocean, a symbol of womanly perfection and divine love. Which brings us to the second set of rules. Equally important to what was painted was how it was painted. Take that painting of the birth of Venus. It's the kind of painting the Academy loved. Its subjects are idealized, prettified visions of the world, smooth and beautiful with no body hair and flawless skin. The painting follows the rules of depth and perspective, meaning it looks like it could exist in the real world. And the scene is complex and layered. There's a lot going on. Its colors are ones you'd find in nature. They aren't too saturated or harsh, and the brushstrokes are smooth, so smooth that they're nearly invisible on the canvas. For a long time, really the only way to become a successful artist was to follow the Academy's rules, which makes Manet's Olympia all the more an outlier. Check out this painting from Renaissance master Titian from 1538. Look familiar? It should. Manet painted Olympia as a direct riff on Titian's Venus of Urbino. But there's a reason Manet's painting ruffled so many feathers when it hung in the salon. For starters, the name Olympia was a popular pseudonym for sex workers. Manet took a beloved, instantly recognizable painting and corrupted it, subbing in a common sex worker for the morally upright goddess of love and fertility. There's not much room for a sex worker in the hierarchy of genres. But it was also how Manet painted Olympia that really changed things. Manet used stark and unnatural colors that give Olympia a cold and harsh look. And look at how rough and textured Manet's brushstrokes are, compared to Titian's imperceptible ones. And unlike Titian's, Manet's painting doesn't seem to exist in real space. It's much flatter and less complex. And beyond the rules, the two paintings just feel different. Venus lounges, while Olympia sits at attention. Venus's maids place furs in a chest, probably a wedding gift. Olympia's maid brings her flowers, likely from one of her regular customers. And compare their hands. People really didn't like Olympia's tense fingers. One critic claimed she was mocking the pose of Venus, with a hand shamelessly flexed. Where Venus is warm and inviting, Olympia is tense and stiff. It's as if Venus invites you to look at her, while Olympia confronts you, almost like she's shaming you for intruding. It's not totally clear why the Academy chose to display Manet's rule-breaking painting, but it probably had something to do with his growing popularity. You can see his influence so clearly in what came next. He led the charge towards modernism in the late 1800s, starting with the Impressionists, Monet, Degas, who adopted his penchant for modern themes and loosened brushstrokes. But it's not just the Impressionists who owe Manet. More than anything, Olympia is proof that no one entity gets to decide what art should look like. And when we look back on the history of art, we don't remember the people who were really good at following the rules. We remember the people who moved the needle forward.
Installment of Art Rediscovered, where we look at historical works of art, and with an artist's eye and a curious mind, we can find new things that were previously overlooked. Many have speculated the motivation behind Goya's Maja Vestida and Maja Desnuda. The Spanish term Maja translates as great beauty. Goya had created two paintings of
این تابلو به نام مایا با لباس و مایا بدون لباس هست، به خاطر از اینکه اولین بار به این شکل نقاشی شده و تابلو هم اکثرا بالو به نمایش گذاشته میشه و جالبش است که اولین بار همون جای شرم نقاشی میکنه و مستقیم و نگاه مستقیم به بیننده است و اینکه به تماشاگر است. خب نقاش ها اکثرا چیزهای جالب میخواین نقاشی کنه، جالب است که من
Goya's solution was to have a dressed version of the painting that could be swapped during a surprise visit. But since the Prime Minister had commissioned the nude painting for a secret viewing room of forbidden art, this tale does not hold water. At that period of time, the late 18th century, early 19th century, the Inquisition was still in progress, and inquisitors would deem risque works of art vulgar, confiscate the work, and in some cases jail the owner and the artist. Goya was forced to defend himself before the Inquisition for this very painting, and likely referred to other nudes by artists such as Titian and Velázquez that remained in favor and was not punished. So if the nude was commissioned by Godoy, why did Goya paint a fully clothed version? Well, as the story goes, Godoy commissioned the dressed version after the birth of his son to cover over the nude version, and with a system of pulleys surprise and delight guests, while hiding it from both his young son's eyes and the Inquisitor's inspections. And while this account may or may not be true, I think there is a deeper meaning behind the two paintings that was only meant for Goya's self-amusement. I believe it was Goya's idea to paint the two paintings and that they were originally intended to hang side by side. What evidence is there to support this idea? The answer also hangs in the Prado. In the court of Charles II a century earlier, there was a great desire to acquire, for lack of a better term, people with physical oddities such as dwarfism and obesity. One such person was an obese young girl by the name of Eugenia Martinez Vallejo. At age 6, she weighed more than 150 pounds and likely suffered from hypercortisolism. She would be brought to be paraded for the court during gatherings and celebrations. King Charles II had two paintings commissioned by Juan Carreño de Miranda. Carreño was the default painter for the royals after the death of the great Diego Velázquez. The commission was to paint one Desnuda and Maja Vestida hang together, but these two other works of Eugenia hang down the hall from each other, so it's not so obvious that they are paired together. And now you know the story of Goya's Beauty and the Beast. Mystery solved.
And how impregnable the grandeur of its monarchs, whom Goya repeatedly painted. Carlos, the bumbling squire, who liked nothing better than hunting and had no mind for political intrigue, Goya painted him in his shooting gear, with his retriever, which, notice, has traces of the letters G-O-Y-A on its collar. Maria Luisa, the impetuous Italian princess, no '60s, his aunt and uncle had been shut up in the asylum of Zaragoza. Maybe he feared madness was in his blood. He painted one madhouse scene which is deliberately a satire on the world of power and order. The world upside down, madmen dressed as kings, gestures of power and chivalry with no meaning, even inverted sex in the form of one man fellating another in the corner. But for Goya, the most powerful of all images of an inverted world was witchcraft. Who believes in the power of witches today? Practically no one. Who did in Spain in the late 18th century? Practically everyone. Did Goya believe in them? Well, construction to the whole thing, that there's really nothing like it. I mean, it's very simple, and yet at the same time, it has tremendous resonance. The French firing squad, for instance, those anonymous backs, leaning forward into the recoil of those big 70 caliber muskets, but you don't register them as people, whereas there's this intense humanity on every face of their victims. And then it all reaches a climax in that little Christ of the people in his white shirt, blazing. They're making some kind of semi-animal noise anyway. But they can't be heard. They're the creatures of Goya's own deafness, imprisoned on the other side of the glass.
He's a man at the end of his rope, and yet he's painting it explicitly. He couldn't have continued painting if he didn't start to let these monsters come out.
No, because he would have been involved in some sort of an act of self-censorship.
Absolutely.
And he never censored himself, as far as we know.
Absolutely. Well, there wasn't much left to censor.
Saturn, the god of melancholy and, not incidentally, the patron god of artists, eating one of his own children, as in the Greek myth. Is there another face anywhere in European art more freighted with hunger and despair, with the horror of self-awareness? The Greek fates hovering in the air, measuring and snipping the thread of human life. And that famous dog peering over a ledge, or perhaps trying to raise its head above the quicksand in which it's drowning. Goya saw more pathos in that dog than Rubens could get into a whole crucifixion.